Hey guys, today I'm going to be checking out a video called TF2's default settings are a joke, and there's also a follow-up video to this called why TF2 default settings suck. These are by a channel, I could get this name wrong, I think it's Air or R, it's AAR, so please go check out their channel. I cannot wait to watch this, man. I've had quite a few people ask me recently to watch this. I've been uploading my gameplay for TF2. I know there's like settings and some special things that I could do in my gameplay to make it a little bit better, and you guys have been really trying to inform me on it, telling me that I need to watch this, so I cannot wait to watch it, man. And thank you so much, everybody's been supporting the channel here recently. You guys are awesome, man. You are killing it. I really appreciate it. And with that being said, this happens to be your first time stopping by the channel, don't forget to hit that sub button, man. And let's go ahead and jump into it.
Team Fortress 2 is a beautiful example of what a game should strive to be, with its seemingly limitless customizability as well as its fun gameplay. It really shows, as its long life grows even stronger as Valve continues to add updates. However, there are a few exceptions to this example, one being SV Pure, the other being the horrible beast that is TF2's own default settings. When somebody first starts Team Fortress 2, as of now, this is what the game looks like. A slightly outdated UI, but hey, it works.
Say a little bit different from mine.
Casual mode, picks whatever sounds the most fun, and jumps into a game. Simple. At this point, the player may be put off, though. Why? The FOV, or field of view. The game looks, for lack of a better word, zoomed in. And I'm not just talking about the view model, dear God. That's a secondary issue compared to this. The easy solution to this problem? The teeny tiny FOV slider in the advanced video options, or the command FOV desired 90. Yeah, that's much better. But wait a minute. Who in the world will even notice that the option exists? That little FOV slider is such a hidden detail. I've spectated countless players, and I'd say about 75% of them are using the default FOV. How do they play like that and not get motion sickness? I say we scrap the default value and bump it up to 90 degrees, just like CSGO. But wait, I hear you say. What about view model FOV? Glad you asked.
Okay.
I'm sure people don't want their weapon right in front of their right or left eyeball, blocking a quarter or even up to half of their display. How do we fix this, you ask? Easy. We go to the advanced options and bump up the view model FOV, where we're limited to the default of 54 degrees up to 70 degrees. Set that shit to the max and the game instantly becomes less claustrophobic and starts to feel comfortable. But it could be even more comfortable. The limit isn't actually 70.
I will say, when obviously I have, I've been streaming this a lot lately. I've had someone come in and try to help me do this, like with the FOV thing, but it was weird to me. I ended up changing it back because my hand, like I could see the end of my elbow, I guess you could say. It was weird looking because it looked like my hand was like floating, especially if you try to play Spy. Like, I remember holding, like, while Spy was holding this knife, it was almost like his hand was almost disconnected. Almost like you're playing a VR game with no VR. Like, it was like my hand was, like, kind of stretched out. And it was almost like I could see, like, the cutoff of, like, where they didn't make, the rest of the body right there. Or where you could see the rest of the body. So I'm not sure. This is very different from what they did because I put it in. And it literally, it looked too weird to me because I could see like the end of my hands of my weapon, and I didn't prefer that. I do like being able to see better, like being able to see across the screen better, but I didn't like the fact that it made my hand and weapon look like it was too far away from my screen, if that makes any sense. I don't know how I got it like that, because I was trying out a few things that night, just trying to listen to what the community was trying to help me do. But we got up to that point, and that's when I just stopped, because I was like, okay, this is kind of like, this is a little weird for me. I didn't like that.
With the console command, view model FOV, we can bump it up way higher, even past 100. I found my comfort zone to be 80 degrees, and Valve doesn't even seem to want their players to know that this option exists. Giving the user this option has the potential to make them way more comfortable, so why is it so hidden? Change the default to 70 degrees, fix your view models, and change the slider's minimum and maximum values.
Okay.
But what about even more important stuff that everyone could benefit from? Stuff like hit sounds, kill sounds, damage numbers, auto-reload, and auto...
Yeah, I'm definitely about to have to apply this to mine, because like I said, I don't know what was going on the night I did it, but when I changed mine and put in the console command, like I said, I could just like see my hand. It almost looked like my hand was floating in the corner, and it just looked kind of off to me. So I ended up just changing it back to
Healing for the
default.
medic. These are crucial things that help players learn the game. Don't lock them away behind a really ugly options box. Turn them on before the play.
There's also, maybe I was just getting a glitch that didn't even occur to me till just now. Maybe I was getting some kind of like glitch, like, you know, just messing around with all the console commands. Maybe I ended up messing something up and glitching out like the view of it, because like I said, it just looked weird. And I remember Chad agreeing that it looked a little weird how it was kind of too far out.
Player even starts. Oh yeah, almost forgot to mention the horrendous network settings the game ships with. Symptoms of bad default network settings include bad hit registration, shots that take too long to fire, missing information, and the list goes on and on. The game allows you to triple the default network settings, giving a huge advantage to those who go and find the commands.
There was, you know why I got you guys here. There was one more thing that I seen on last night's stream that I've never seen on TF2 ever, and chat was very shocked about it. There was a demo man running around, and he had a huge word on his back that said error, and it was like bigger than most of his body. It like started at like his back, but it was floating like 3 or 4 feet above his head. Like it was a huge sign everywhere he went. It was just saying error, and it was just him. And it quit on the next round. Like once the round quit and we went to the next one, once the round ended, we went to the next one. That went away and he was just normal the rest of the match. But for some reason, that guy on my team, it just said error. And every time I was spectating him, it still said error. And it was almost like it was replacing where like a backpack will be or something. It was just this huge error sign and you just couldn't miss it. You could see it. You could see it so far away. So I'm not sure what was going on there either.
Just to enter them. Please do everyone a favor and update these hidden variables. No one's benefiting from your bad settings.
Okay.
TF team, I love you and your game. I really do. If you really want to attract more players to the game and potentially end the confusion and motion sickness faced by newcomers, please update your defaults.
Okay, that was the first one, and this is the follow-up one, which was about a year later, that says why TF2 default settings suck.
1 year ago, I released a video that spawned quite the heated discussion. TF2's default settings are a joke. In that video, I explained that Team Fortress 2's default settings are very problematic to the game's lifespan, as they bewilder newer players and don't show clearly that the game experience can be improved. So, a year after the release of my first video on the topic, I'll be analyzing a fresh copy of TF2 in order to see if anything has recently improved.
Okay.
Now, before this video kicks off, I want to make something abundantly clear. I know that patch notes exist. I've read every single patch note since the release of the Gunmetal update. However, despite the lack of mention for changes in any of the command values I mentioned in my previous video, it's still highly possible that the TF team simply didn't document those changes. This happens sometimes, a notable example being the lack of mention about string updates to tournament medals every once in a while. In order to get an absolutely fresh Team Fortress 2 experience, I'll be using a virtual machine. This virtual machine will emulate an entirely separate computer, with a fresh installation of Windows. This is important, as Team Fortress 2 saves to more locations than the config folder, such as the Steam Cloud and Windows Registry. A virtual machine is perfect for getting rid of any residual data that might mess with the results of my testing, without me having to reinstall my operating system.
It sounds like he's just going in on this one.
I'll be testing a new copy of Windows XP on said virtual machine for performance purposes, and yes, this OS is still compatible with Team Fortress 2. After inserting my setup CD and going through the long and boring setup process, I finally arrived on the Windows desktop. After installing VMware tools, I immediately installed Steam, created a new account, and hit up the store to download and install Team Fortress 2. A little less than an hour later, my game was installed and I booted it up for the very first time. So, what was I greeted with? First up, the screen resolution changed to an absurdly low value of 854 by 480, and the Valve intro played. The screen resolution drop is a minimal annoyance for anyone who knows enough about PC gaming to change it after the game launches for the first time, but for inexperienced users, they may not know what resolution is and will continue to play the game like this. Additionally, they may think this is the only way the game can be played. After the Valve cutscene finished playing, the game blared notification sounds at me and popped up multiple confusing dialogue boxes, each telling me to do a different thing. Before selecting casual mode, let's assume that the person who just downloaded TF2 has never felt the need to change settings in a game before, playing mostly modern releases that automatically pick good presets for their system. Thus, I won't touch any settings, I'll ignore the annoying pop-ups about training mode in the Manco store, and I'll head straight into a CTF match. After my game loaded, surprise surprise, I was greeted by a 75-degree field of view and 54-degree view model FOV. I feel that I failed to elaborate enough on why this is so important in my first video, and it's not really apparent that there's an issue without a direct comparison or example. So, check out this scenario. Imagine you're playing on Dust Bowl as the soldier. You've had TF2 installed for a while now and know the basics of gameplay, but you haven't touched the FOV or any other advanced settings because you're new to PC gaming. Now, you're trying to get to the second point and help out your team, when seemingly out of nowhere you get killed by an enemy demo man's sticky bombs, which were planted on the wall next to you. You didn't see it coming at all because your FOV was too low. What if you knew about FOV, checked the video settings, and turned it up beforehand? On your way past the first point, you get blown up seemingly out of nowhere yet again. This time, the stickies were located behind your view model, and you didn't even see them at all. A lot of TF2's view models are big and cover up a lot of the display, even at higher view model FOV values. Turning up view model FOV is a great way to get more comfortable, but in situations like these, it simply isn't enough. So, Valve added view model min mode in the Meet Your Match update to remedy this problem. This time, having both enabled that option and set a more comfortable view model FOV, you see the stickies and can get out of the way, then kill the demo man. A piece of cake, given that you've changed the settings a bit. But herein lies the problem. Why do we have to change them in the first place? I know fully well that FOV and view model FOV preference is subjective, and that's totally fine. If you
I would say everybody's got their own preference, man. It's just whatever you feel more comfortable
play on
with.
a TV on the other side of your room with a controller, or just happen to like the default settings, I can't stop you. However, without view model min mode and a 90-degree FOV, you're only really giving yourself the disadvantage. How fair is it that the demo you were up against could see more of the battle than you could? This is why I propose that the default FOV be raised to 90 degrees, the default view model FOV raised to 70, and the option of view model min mode made much more apparent. However, it's still not quite the end yet. The source engine has networking commands like rate, CLCMD rate, CL update rate, CL interp, and so on. The game's default values for these commands are functional, yet still place you at a disadvantage. Let me explain why. These commands control how much information is sent to and received from the server you're playing on. Lower numbers means the game updates less frequently, making quick getaways often impossible. Imagine you're playing as Soldier, being chased by an enemy heavy, and you have just enough health to make a single rocket jump away and get back to spawn. Ideally, you'd rocket jump off this wall, make it closer to spawn, and get to the cabinet alive. However, if your network settings are the defaults, chances are highly likely that the server hasn't even registered that you fired the rocket yet, and the heavy kills you as you try to jump away. This is especially frustrating, because the network settings aren't even mentioned once inside the game. Ideally, you'd want to set CL interp to 0.0325, CL interp ratio to 1, rate to 60,000, CL update rate to 66, and CL CMD rate to 66, as explained in a previous video. This will ensure you're sending and receiving all the data the server can provide, and this time, the commands are in the description. Another thing I mentioned briefly before were a few advanced options that just make the game so much more enjoyable to sit back and play. These include things like hit sounds, kill sounds, the sniper rifle charged sound, and auto-healing for the medic, which eliminates the need to hold mouse 1 down to heal your teammates after you click on them. It's obvious that these were made with quality of life in mind, so why not make them default like you did with auto-reload? In the end, I love Team Fortress 2. I always have,
It's a great game.
and I always will. I may have sounded a little harsh in this video, but I have absolutely nothing but respect for the work the TF team does to keep this game alive after all these years. I just wish I didn't have to pass a config along to every friend I've invited to play the game.
Okay, I'm going to pause that because, don't know about how the copyright is for that song. But thank you so much for being here, man. This was great. I'll be sure to put the original video links for these down below as always if you want to go check out their channel. And please do, because this was awesome, man. I do need to go change a few things now with my TF2 settings. And thank you so much to everybody that said I should watch this. This has been requested for quite a while now. And I'm glad that I finally got around to it. This has been awesome. So thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel here. If there's anything else you need to see me react to, you're more than welcome to comment down below, and I'll be sure to put it on the list to make. So that's all I got for you. I will see you in the next video. Do not forget, man, it's Orc Army for life.